KMOV. This is News 4 This Morning.
Good morning to all of you. I'm Andre Hepkins. Thank you for waking up with us this Friday, June 13th. That is Friday the 13th.
And a happy Friday the 13th to all of you. I'm Laura Hettiger in for Claire Kellett. Right now, we are tracking a story that has been developing overnight. Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl just arriving back in the United States this morning as the controversy continues surrounding his release.
This is new video we got into the newsroom overnight. Happening today, the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission will outline a list of projects and improvements that could improve safety, create jobs, and boost Missouri's economy.
But funding those projects means voters will have to approve tax hikes. Our Mike Colombo joins us live this morning to break down the details.
Yeah, Laura, from here in the city of St. Louis, we'll share it for you and track this whole thing on KMOV and KMOV.com. Back to you.
All right, Mike, and we're also tracking construction on the east side. Overnight, we've been going over the latest.
A heads up for St. Louis drivers this weekend. City police say they will be holding a DWI checkpoint sometime today, but they won't say where, so consider yourself warned. There could soon be more surveillance at Belleville City Hall. The mayor tells News 4 they're considering adding extra security cameras. The city council will discuss the idea on Monday. You can depend on News 4 to keep you posted.
And depend on News 4 to keep checking with police in Lake St. Louis and adults.
As we approach 6:04, Alyssa Reitmeyer has her eye on the JB Bridge.
Yeah, talk about the storm timing on Sunday, which is, by the way,
Father's Day.
Say it with me.
Father's Day.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Happy Father's Day ahead of time. All right. This morning, the violence is still raging in Iraq, and we're waiting to see what the White House will do to help stop it.
While extremists try to take over that country, drivers here in the United States could soon feel the impact. Those details coming up in a live report at 6:40.
We also have new developments from overnight about this house clinging to the edge of a cliff. We finally know what's going to happen next.
And remember when we told you about someone planting razor blades on playground equipment in Illinois? Well, someone out to hurt kids is at it again. Find out what they did this time when we come back. 6:08 on this Friday morning. You are taking a live look at Lambert International Airport. Hopefully you have some friends flying in for this Father's Day weekend. If so, today sounds like it's going to be a beautiful summer day. We'll check in with Kent coming up at 6:14. Right now, President Obama is weighing several military options, including airstrikes and intel assistance in Iraq. But the White House insists American troops back on the ground in that country is not an option. This all comes less than 3 years after U.S. forces left that country. Al-Qaeda-inspired militants have started creating chaos in several cities, including threatening to take over Baghdad. Overnight, we learned the bodies of 5 American soldiers killed in Afghanistan this week are back on U.S. soil. One of those killed was a 19-year-old from Illinois. The Pentagon says a coalition jet mistakenly bombed the U.S. Special Forces troops.
We also got these new images overnight showing us the inside of a temporary shelter in California.
If you can, go ahead and take a look at your screen. If you live or work in St. Charles County, you may have seen it in person.
The St. Charles County Ambulance District posted the signs this spring as part of a campaign to pass a property tax hike. Voters approved that tax increase, but our Emily Rao found out the district is already spending a lot more money. She joins us live from St. Charles County with more. Emily.
Hey, Andre, if you can take a look behind me here at this screen, that's what this kind of all stems from.
Thank you, Emily. Now, News 4 is learning another Madison County official is calling for oversight in how your tax dollars are being invested. This week, the county board chair proposed an independent firm watch over how Treasurer Kurt Prinzler invests county dollars. Prinzler has $130 million to invest for the county, and the board chair says dismal returns are hurting the budget.
This is costing the taxpayers money when we lose interest like we're losing today. It is just, I am just shocked.
Do you feel there's any reason why your investments for the county need oversight?
I really don't think so.
The treasurer says he's merely playing by the rules laid out by the state of Illinois and investing safely. But you might remember just last month, News 4 reported that the county auditor also called for an oversight committee to step in. We continue to track the fight against heroin abuse in our area, and in just a few hours, the Madison County Heroin Task Force will hold a public meeting at the County Administration Building. The task force is trying to figure out just how big of a problem this is in the Metro East and then figure out how to fix it.
Overnight, we got new details on a huge mistake that led to the death of a burglary suspect.
We'll keep checking with St. Louis police to see when they are planning to sell these guns. The machine guns were used by city officers back in the 1920s and haven't been used in years. They are still functional and they're worth thousands of dollars that the department says it desperately needs. There are hopes the collection could bring an estimated $750,000.
A lot of money as we approach 6:14, time for weather and traffic on the fours. We're going to talk to Kent about the weekend forecast.
Thank you, Kent. Now, it's been dangling on the edge for days, and overnight we learned what is going to happen to a Texas house about to fall off a cliff.
The video is still just amazing to see.
Gosh.
Take a look at some live pictures. Okay, we first showed you the story Wednesday morning. The rocky shoreline beneath the home fell into the lake you see there, leaving it teetering on the edge. Well, just a few hours from now, demolition crews are going to set that house on fire. They'll saturate bales of hay with diesel fuel and light it up at 10 a.m. Okay, the cost of cleaning it up after will be about $50,000 compared to about $200,000 if the owners had let it just fall. And they're the ones footing the bill. Now, here's another piece of amazing video for you this morning. All right.
Oh, boy. And an update on President George H.W. Bush's 90th birthday bash we first told you about yesterday morning. Just like he did for his 75th, his 80th, and his 85th, he went skydiving.
Tells me he's going to do it in
For
another 5 years.
95.
That's right. And today is Friday the 13th, a day where many superstitious people dread, but another unique thing happened overnight that adds more depth to the meaning of this day.
Of course it does, because check out your screen right now. Overnight, we experienced a honeymoon. This is video our overnight photographer was able to capture of it. But the big question, why a honeymoon?
So that's the question we're posing to our own Steve Harrison. Steve, we understand this Friday the 13th combo won't happen again for a very long time.
A very, very long time. Actually, I have it on good authority that the man in the moon was, in fact, smiling after my last hit. So let's try to do it again, shall we? Now, listen, the month of June, the sun is at its highest.
Party for 2098, Steve?
I may watch it in Vegas. Then I can have a honeymoon in Vegas.
That's a good idea.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like the
We'll
way you
join ya.
think. All right. Or maybe.
Oh, thank you, Steve.
All right. Billions of dollars a year being wasted right under your nose.
And it's all because of a popular appliance, probably in your home.
Coming up at 6:40, the eye-popping numbers on how much money is being tossed away because of household dryers.
And Governor Pat Quinn will sign legislation today. What it will create and how the money coming in will help some special athletes in the land of Lincoln.
And up next, a daredevil swamp guide gets friendly with wild alligators. See the crazy stunt he tries with the gators that had his tour group very concerned.
Great music we are listening to. Hope there are no gators in the mighty Mississippi. It's going to make sense because go ahead and listen to this next story. A group of tourists in Louisiana got the crazy tour guide as they made their way through gator-infested waters. Just take a look. Oh my goodness, that is the group's tour guide getting up close and very personal in a swamp full of gators. As you just saw, he had one gator eat a marshmallow right from his mouth. No fear at all. Now the guide did have some tourists rather worried.
We're thinking, oh my gosh, how are we getting back to shore if something happens to him?
I'd be thinking, oh my gosh, is it going to eat his head off? But luckily that didn't happen. But the local sheriff's office is reminding local swamp tours, hey, don't feed the gators.
Not a good idea.
No.
It's 6:24, time for weather and traffic on the fourth. You know, I've spent some time in Florida, so I've come close to gators, but not that close.
Yeah.
The
super predictor.
All right, and now it's time to take a look at what we're working on all new in our next half hour. Add another one to the list. A national chain of restaurants has confirmed their customers' card information has been stolen. Find out which chain.
Plus, we all know CEOs deserve to be compensated for their leadership and knowledge, but are they making too much? You won't believe the staggering numbers. And they are twin brothers, but they were born in different months. These stories and much more coming up. And Sky Zoom 4 is up above, giving you a live look at breaking news and traffic. We'll be right back. Good morning and happy Friday to all of you. I'm Laura Hettiger in for Claire Kellett.
And I'm Andre Hepkins. Thanks for waking up with us this June 13th. In just a few, we'll talk to Kent Earhart about the weekend forecast. There is a chance of some storms later this weekend. We'll talk to him in a few minutes.
But first, we're watching out for your money in St. Charles County, where a few months ago, the ambulance district convinced voters to approve a tax hike, telling the community it was out of money.
But Emily Rao found out officials already have new projects in the works before.
Thank you, Emily. Now an update to a story we first brought you yesterday on News 4 this morning. I found out that these two, James Owens and Joseph Smith, have both been charged for drug crimes in Franklin County. Please tell me Owens actually ran out of a trailer during a drug bust, wearing meth around his neck in a necklace. They are two of the 29 people narcotics detectives netted in a recent 10-day sweep. Meanwhile, also in Franklin County, News 4 has learned the Missouri Highway Patrol will conduct what they call Operation Arrest tomorrow night. It's an alcohol-related response team that aims to remove drunk drivers from Missouri roads. The operation will begin at 7 o'clock tomorrow night and will go through 3 o'clock Sunday morning.
A man who's supposed to be put to death next week for the murders of two St. Louis.
Happening today, Governor Pat Quinn will visit the Special Olympics of Illinois Summer Games to sign legislation aimed at helping that organization. The measure will create a Go for the Gold lottery ticket that will benefit Special Olympians. The ticket will be a $2 scratch-off game and will be available next year across the state. Go for the Gold is expected to raise nearly $700,000 in just its first year.
Meanwhile,
love today's forecast. Thank you, Kent. Coverage of Sergeant Bo Bergdahl's release doesn't end after this newscast. Coming up on CBS this morning, reports from San Antonio on what's next for the former POW now that he's back in the States.
CEOs make the most money at any given company, but are American CEOs making too much green compared to average workers? We have new numbers that'll have you asking the same question.
And if you own a Ford hybrid, a check might be in the mail for you. It's because of a mistake that Ford made. In 4 minutes, how much you could be getting and why.